Some radio frequencies are supposed to be silent forever. They belong to abandoned military stations, forgotten emergency channels, or places that no longer exist. Most people would never think about listening to them, but sometimes someone does. In the winter of 1994, Ethan Brooks accepted a night shift at a remote radio relay station hidden deep in the Rocky Mountains. The building had been standing there for decades, surrounded by endless snow and thick pine forest. It wasn't a place people visited. Its only purpose was to monitor old emergency frequencies that had long since fallen into silence. The job was simple: sit alone, monitor the equipment, write down anything unusual. Most nights were painfully quiet, just static, wind hitting the windows, and the constant ticking of an old clock hanging above the control panel. The senior operator gave Ethan only one strange piece of advice before leaving. If you ever hear a voice on frequency or 104.7, he stopped for a second. Don't answer. Ethan laughed. He thought it was another old mountain superstition. The first 3 nights passed without anything unusual, until 2:17 in the morning on the fourth night. The static suddenly disappeared. A man's voice came through the speakers, weak, broken, barely understandable. Corey, can anyone hear me? Ethan immediately reached for the microphone. This is Rocky Mountain Relay Station. I can hear you. What's your emergency? Silence. Then the voice returned. I've been trying for hours. There was an avalanche. My truck is trapped. I don't know how much longer I have. Ethan quickly grabbed a map. The caller described a road that no longer existed. According to every map in the station, that road had been closed almost 30 years earlier. He assumed the man was confused. Then the caller said something that made Ethan freeze. My name is Michael Carter. The name sounded familiar. Ethan searched through the station's old records. Inside a dusty cabinet, he found a yellow newspaper clipping. The headline read, Local rescue team fails to find missing radio operator. The missing man's name, Michael Carter. Date of disappearance, January 18th, exactly 30 years earlier. Ethan stared at the newspaper. His hands began to shake. He slowly picked up the microphone. Michael, what year do you think it is? A long silence followed. Then, 1964. Every light inside the station flickered. The temperature suddenly dropped. Outside, the snowstorm became so intense he could barely see the trees. Ethan felt his heartbeat pounding inside his chest. He looked back at a newspaper. The missing man was 28 years old, exactly the same age the voice sounded. This wasn't a recording. This wasn't interference. Someone, or something, was speaking from another time. Night after night, the conversation continued. Michael described events that had happened 30 years ago. Ethan described the world as it existed in 1994. Neither of them could understand what was happening. One night, Michael asked a simple question. What happens to me? Ethan couldn't answer, because he already knew. The newspaper in front of him had told the entire story. The rescue teams never found Michael. Not his truck, not his radio, not even a single footprint. For 3 days, Ethan avoided the frequency. He couldn't bear hearing the man's voice anymore. But on the fourth night, the radio turned on by itself. Ethan, I know you're there. I need you to tell me, do I survive? Tears filled Ethan's eyes. He remained silent. Then Michael spoke again. If I disappear, promise me you'll remember my name. The transmission ended. For exactly 1 year, the frequency remained silent. No voices, no static, nothing. Then on the anniversary of the first transmission, 2:17 a.m., the radio came alive again. This time, the voice wasn't Michael's. It was calm, older, almost familiar. Ethan, don't answer. His blood ran cold. He slowly looked toward the wall. The old newspaper clipping was gone. In its place, there was a new article. Radio operator disappears during night shift. Name, Ethan Brooks. Date, January 18th. The station was searched for weeks. The equipment was still running. His coffee was still warm. His notebook lay open on the desk. But Ethan himself was never seen again. Some believe the station still stands somewhere in those mountains, hidden beneath snow that never melts, waiting for someone curious enough to turn on an old radio. And if that day ever comes, you may hear a familiar voice asking for help. If you do, think carefully before you answer. Some mysteries are never solved. Some stories refuse to die. And maybe that's exactly what makes them terrifying. Sleep well.